All right, all right, all right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Create with Maxon. My name is Ian Robinson, and today we're going to be covering a lot of ZBrush for iPad stuff and things. As you guys know, ZBrush for iPad has been released, so we're definitely going to be going over that. You got me for the next hour. It's going to be super fun. If you guys have any questions, you guys know what to do. Go ahead and ask the questions down in the comment section below. And what is going on, everybody? We have a lot of faces and stuff in the chat, so it's super good to see all of you. Real quick, just, before we get into the nitty gritty stuff, we're going to go ahead and just quickly mention that, of course, too, if you need all the information for our product, it's maxon.net. You can go ahead and check all that stuff out. And if you are a student or teacher, we definitely have pricing for you. So you can get our software very, very affordable. So you can come in and, of course, check out these tabs here. And I'm going to be putting some of these chats or these comments links in the comment section below. And then, of course, all of our learning needs are on Cineversity, so you can go ahead and check that out. So from anything from, of course, ZBrush to Redshift to Cinema 4D, et cetera, et cetera. And always, check this one out too. We have, it's my buddy Rodolfo Silva. What's up, Rodolfo? We actually created a Getting Started series specifically for iPad. So you guys are going to want to go ahead and check that out. And again, the links here are going to be in the comment section. So please go check that out. There's another way which you can go to this playlist, and I'll cover that here in a second. So there you go. That being said, hopefully everybody's doing really well. We actually have just been super excited for this release, so can't wait to get into it. So that being said, actually what we're going to do is a little new screen here. I'm still tweaking this screen, so there might be a little blank space in that little section. Don't mind that little guy. That little guy? Don't worry about that little guy. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to first cover, in the first few minutes, we're going to cover kind of an overview of what to expect if you're opening ZBrush for iPad first. And then from there, we'll get into a little bit of sculpting. For me, Halloween is every day of the year, but for some, it's only around October. We're now edging at the end of September, so we have to do some sort of weird sculpture monster pumpkin thingy. We'll figure it out. But before we do that, let's go ahead and cover some of the basics. So if you are new, so we're going to be using the paid version. Just FYI, there is a free version for ZBrush for iPad. So if you don't, if you just want to get started, you want to come in here, you want to just try it for the first time, please go ahead, go to the App Store, download it, and then just go ahead and sign in because there is a free version for you. The only difference is that there are some limited features and limited brushes, so that will be the only difference, but you could totally follow along even in today's stuff with a free version. You just may need to try a couple of different brushes. So that being said, this is what we're going to be looking at. You can see here, I already have quite a few projects. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is that anywhere I touch on my screen, you get a nice little blue dot. This is the Signify presenting mode, which tells you what I'm doing with my fingies. So that's going to be how it is. So if anytime you see a blue dot, whether it be 2, 3, even 4 sometimes, that's going to signify that I'm touching the screen, and that will help you out. So I'm going to go ahead and boop, kick that off over there. Now, the first thing before we get into sculpting is, again, how do you get started in it? And the thing is that right here, this little guy, if you click this little guy, we'll see if my internet kicks up today. It takes you immediately to the Getting Started series. So right away, even with an app, you don't have to go onto your phone, your computer, whatever. You're on your iPad. As long as you have internet connection, it'll take you right there. And you can see here, there's about 20 videos, and they range about, on average, 3 to 4 minutes. So there are a couple longer ones. That's just because there's a lot more information. But you can see here, it's going to go ahead and give you a lot of that information. Okay, so coming back here, awesome. We're already getting some good questions here, like how do you guys make hair in ZBrush for iPad, FiberMesh brushes? We're going to cover some of that, Danny. We're going to definitely cover some of that stuff. So first things first, I even made some hair too, so you'll like that. So now that you have the actual playlist, you can see that there is a home screen, that there is a My Sculpts, and this is stuff that I've been working on. And if you've seen the promo video, you might recognize this little guy. This little guy's a little fun. And see right there, if I press and hold one of my projects, it's going to give me some options as to either if I want to rename it, duplicate it, or even delete that one. So that's really cool, nice and easy to be able to come through. So like this little face here, boom, I don't want that little face. done. So you can see it's really, really nice and easy. Within the My Sculpts, you can see we have Z tools. Again, I don't have any Z tools. I'm using projects at the moment, so there's nothing there. There's my projects. And also, if you do any quick saves, you can see I have a few quick saves. And then if you do not know what ZBrush Central is, ZBrush Central is like the one-stop shop. It was like, it predates Instagram even. It's where people would go and show their work and showcase what they can do. And you can see here, we have a lot of updates, not only for ZBrush for iPad, but for ZBrush as well. So if you want to be able to post your work and even get top row or Sculpt of the Week, then you can go ahead and sign up for an account. It's totally free. And you can share with the community, talk with everybody, and showcase your work. I'm going to be looking at the chat here, so absolutely. Yes. So for pricing, I see that question right in there. You have an annual subscription. How to get the iPad version for free, or do you need to pay for anything? So there are a few ways that you can go ahead and get ZBrush for iPad. The first thing is in the App Store. Go ahead and download it, and there you'll have the free version. You will have to have a Maxon account, which is free. All you have to do is just sign up for one. Then you can log in and boom, you're good to go. You have the free version. The second way to do it is to pay directly from the app. And that is actually for US prices, $9.99 a month or $90 for the year. So super affordable. If you already have Maxon 1, then Maxon 1, it's already included for you. So all you need to do is download the app, sign in through your Maxon 1 account, and you should already have the feature there. And then the other way, of course, is if you have a ZBrush subscription, so you're paying for ZBrush right now through Maxon, then you get ZBrush for desktop, ZBrush for iPad, and Redshift CPU. So you get 3 products in one for that price. So those are the ways that you can go ahead and get it. And like I said, the second way is through the App Store, which is a standalone version. Okay, cool. So now that being said, here, if I press new sculpt, you can see here, I get some nice primitives. So I can easily go and click one of these, and these primitives, I could just start sculpting away. I also have, oh, I'm sorry, these are 3D meshes with a couple primitives. Then I have some primitives that I can start with. And then I also have Z-spheres, and more specifically, Zizu. A lot of these were created back in the day, I think for 2020, if I'm not mistaken. But artists specifically like Shane Olson was somebody who came in and created a ton of these. And these are a really great way to just get started. You need an owl, you need a hornworm, you need a horse. Get in there, you already have a base mesh. You can just start clicking that. So today, let's go ahead, and I'm going to click this guy. This is a piece I've been working on. Therapy's been good for me. And you can see here, I'm actually just like sculpting this nice little crazy face. And this is actually done out of a sphere. And he's really cool. You know, I'm playing with a few different ideas. But what's fun about this is you can already see that the UI is very, very clean. And it is very different than what you're used to on the desktop version. So for that, we're going to go over some of this stuff. And I'm going to go ahead and just delete this palette here because we'll explain that in a second. Boom, boom, boom. You need a reference tool for the background, please. I'm going to say right now, there's a lot of things going on in the background that we are playing with. We have a lot of cool features coming. So I can't specifically say yet, but there are some things that are coming very, very soon. And we are hearing you guys loud and clear. Trust me. So thank you guys so much. I'm also going to pause real quick and just encourage, if you guys do like this app, if you're playing with this app, please go into the App Store and leave a review, because it really helps us understand what it is you're looking for and what it is you would like to see within the app. So if you can just take a quick second and just go ahead and rate it, that would be fantastic. Awesome. Mad Magazine mascot. Yeah, it's actually, yeah, it's now that you say that, I can't unsee that. Probably. I was actually just playing around with this little guy, and he was super fun. So let's go ahead and let's go over some of the basics of the UI, and then we're going to get into some sculpting, and it's going to be super cool. So on the top left-hand side, so just over here in this little corner, you can see here that there are a few buttons. So the first one is the home button. It's pretty self-explanatory. If I click that, it'll take me back to the previous screen. There is a save icon. So if I hold and press the save icon, you can see here that there's save, save as, save next, and user setting. But if I just click it one time, it's going to go ahead and save my work. I'm using a project right now, so it go ahead and saved it. This other button is called import. Now, here's what's really cool. If you had made brushes like in 2022, 2021, 2019 version of ZBrush Desktop, right now, any supported brushes, so unfortunately, ZModeler is not there yet currently, But any other brushes that you've made, Sculptris brushes or the like VDM or IMM brushes, then you can actually come through here and you can quickly grab a brush. As you can see here, I have the 3D Character Workshop fill brush from Shane Olson. Shout out to Shane, my buddy. I love that brush. I'm going to go ahead and import that. And now you can see that I have that brush. You also, too, have the ability to pretty much import any texture, floor grid, alpha, materials, lighting information, and even go Z, which you can go Z to the desktop if you're on the latest version. So you can actually bring models in straight from the desktop version, as long as you're on the same network. And that's crucial to kind of point out. So if you're on the same Wi-Fi or you're connected to the same router, that's the way that you can communicate. And then we have export, which means that we can come through here. And again, I can export back to the ZBrush desktop version. I can 3D model, any models I want to bring in, texture, image, turn, et cetera, even export out my brushes. If I do create some custom brushes, then I can go ahead and boop, pop that sucker out and I can export that. So these are all the different export options. And then on the top right-hand side over here, you can actually see here, I have a history bar. So this is my undo history, which we'll get into a little bit later. I have a customization tab, which allows me to customize not only the toolbars on the bottom, but also a quick menu. And then I have a help function. So again, if I need to know where tutorials are, it's going to take me right to my tutorial. So many ways to access that. And then, of course, like ZBrush Central, if I need help or support, it'll take me straight to the support center. And I just want to call something out real quick, fast, and in a hurry for you all. If you guys are paying for the pro version, you guys are here. Even if you're in the free version and something is going wrong and you're not sure, come to the support center and put in a support ticket. This is one of the things that benefits you for actually having a subscription is you have access to us. So please come in and actually hit the support center, come in and click and say, hey, this isn't working or something's going on. Can you please help me? Blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, I have some user settings. And this is going to be really, really fun because you have the ability to come through here and actually make ZBrush for iPad your own customization, i.e. like support, or sorry, for like input right here, or navigation rather. I can actually adjust my rotate speed. So by default, I believe it's 1.5, but I actually have it set to 0.75 because that for me is a little bit nicer. Same thing with pinch zoom. I actually have it set to 0.65, but I believe the default is 1.5. So if it seems really, really fast for you, then do not worry. Go ahead and pop in there. And then from here too, you can also adjust your rotation axis if you want it X, Y, and Z, or if you just want it on the X or the Y or the Z. And then the other thing I want to point out too, actually, is right here, boop, 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 under input, you have touch navigation. I believe it is turned on by default, but if it's turned off, then you can actually come in here and you can sculpt with your finger. But if you're like me and I would like to navigate with my fingers and only sculpt with my pencil, I turn this on. Now you can see I'm actually rotating, zooming in, and no sculpture work is happening, but I can actually come in and start sculpting with my pen. So those are really cool functions. And then from there, we have our sidebars, our our bottom and left and right bars. Let me check the chat real quick. What is going on, everybody? How's it happen? You switch from Nomad to ZBrush for iPad and really enjoying it a lot more. Just getting used to the UI of it all and how to do certain things would be one button on Nomad. ZBrush is great. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. What's going on, everybody? Perfect. Perfect. How do you mirror? Mirroring is actually really cool. So I'll tell you right now, if you come here under this palette button right here, so this guy right here, click this, and we're going to go ahead, and we're going to get more into this, but I'll call this out, deformation, and then we have our mirror option, which should be right here. So then you can actually click that guy. So that's how you would end up mirroring. Actually, what's really cool about ZBrush for iPad is it's a one-to-one experience. So where things are in the desktop, you will be able to find them this way in the iPad version. So again, we'll get into that here in a second. Perfect. Now I'm going to cover, because we're on this side, I might as well just cover on this side. So we have our tool palettes. So the top one should automatically take you to tool, but if not, then you'll see that you have all of these palettes. So we have tool, alpha, brush, draw, blah, 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 all these fun ones. What's really cool about this is that at any point, let's say I adjust my brush settings a lot, so I click brush, I can literally drag right up here and knock this off, and now it becomes a custom palette menu. And this is really good because a lot of times we do the same things over and over again. We go to the brush system, we grab it, and then we start adjusting like brush AccuCurve, you know, curve AccuCurve, or we have like auto masking, backface masking, right? So those things we use quite a bit. And while we can put that on a custom menu, we can also just have it here so we know that it's there. So if I go curve, AccuCurve, there it is, boom, it's done. But then what if I want to add something else? So I'm going to come up here and say like, oh, you know what? I'm going to do my lighting. So I'm going to go ahead and drag that over there. And then maybe I'll come over here and do my render, put that over there. And then I thought, you know what? I actually am going to need my transformation because I use radial symmetry a lot. So I'll drag this and put this over here. But then I can also click and hold and rearrange them as needed. So you can kind of do an order of operation thing if you would like to do that. And then you can just collapse it and then have that wherever you want. So you can always just open that up real fast and close it really fast. And then you guys asked for this a lot. So just underneath that is a separate subtool list. And this separate subtool list is something that allows you to just open and close your subtools without having to constantly go into the tool menu. So this is something that we're really happy about. We have the ability, of course, to add in new subtools, to copy new subtools, to folder subtools if we would like, as well as a few other options. So all of this is very familiar to what you would see on the desktop, as well as if we scroll down the bottom, of course, we have split and merge, and we have transpose master. So that's where that lives. And then, of course, we have like project, and we also have project bas relief and extract. So all your favorite features that you would expect to see there are there. And then just below that, we actually have a BPR button. Now, this project, I've actually did a quick render test, and this is my render test. Boom, nice and clean, super fun, easy to do, which is really, really cool. And then, of course, we have perspective mode, we have our floor, we have normal symmetry, local symmetry, which if you don't know what local symmetry is, I'm going to go ahead real quick and just solo this for a second. If I use my gizmo, and you can see my gizmo is in the center, with local symmetry, I can rotate this, turn this off on here, and then I can go ahead and grab a brush, and I can continue to sculpt symmetrically. So this is actually a feature that we did in 2023.5, I believe. So that is something that you could do. But if I turn this off, now you can see that my symmetry is turned off. So local symmetry is based on the gizmo location. So we've also added in new features like that. Let's just go ahead and put this back in time. There we go. And then we have fill frame, we have our wireframe, we have a transparency mode with ghosting or see-through, and then we have solo mode. So that is everything on that side. Let me go ahead and check the comment section real quick. I do not believe split screen is currently in ZBrush, but great question. Perfect. Let's see. This is a great question. I'll touch on this one. What are the limits of the iPad versus the computer version? So not every feature is in the iPad version currently. There's a lot of things we want to do, but just like the desktop version, the better your computer system or the better your iPad, the better your experience. So if you have a really top tier iPad, like I am actually, I was on the M2, but I upgraded to the M4, then you'll actually know that you actually, you know, you'll get a little bit better of a performance, you'll get better fidelity, all that stuff. So just like the desktop version, if you have a really good machine, of course, you could push ZBrush to its max. Same thing on the iPad version. But we do currently support the A12 chip and up. So that's like the bare minimum recommendation. Personally, we had a lot of artists come in on the A13 chip and even the M1 and M2 series, and they were able to do fantastic work. I was currently on the M2 series, but then I turned around and said, you know what, selfishly, I just want the M4. Why not? So then I went ahead and got the M4. Can you create UVs in this version of ZBrush? There is no UV support in this version of ZBrush currently, but again, lot of things are there that we would like to do. Same thing with Spotlight. Spotlight is not currently in this version at the moment. But here's the cool part, and this is something to just let you guys be a little bit aware of, is that again, we really had to like build this version of ZBrush to fit the iPad. So this is something that's like, it's not a direct port. It is something that the engineering team spent a lot of time and hours on to make this version fit the iPad specifically. So shout out to all the engineers who put this together. It's been a lot of hard work. So that's why we're saying there's a lot of features that we're planning on come to the future. And so we're really excited about that. And they're working very, very hard every single day on this version. So it's really cool. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, awesome. I'm using the M4 version that's top tier. So I have the 1 terabyte version, which I believe is the 16 gigs. Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, you know what? Okay, so yeah. There's a comment here saying that the just careful when you update to the iOS 18. I was also, yeah, I saw that I went to go update to the iOS 18. I do not believe you can update on the iPad to iOS 18 currently. I tried last night and then it wasn't even there. So yeah. How can I install brushes I purchased for my desktop so I can use it on the iPad? Great question. So here's the thing. So what you could do is you come up here to import. Now, what I will say is if you're using ZBrush for, if you're using iPad, I believe it's M2 and up. I don't remember if the M1 has the Type-C, but if you're using the M2 and up, what you can do is grab a USB or a hard drive with an adapter to fit, and then you can actually come here to Files, and then you can actually import your brushes. So see, I actually made a folder here called Brushes, and I imported currently the 3D Character Workshop brushes because I use them all the time and they're awesome. So I just have them there so I can import all the time. But if I come here to ZBrush folder, and then I go here to my Z Startup, you can see I actually have brush presets. So you can load your brushes into the brush preset. Very familiar to what you would do on the desktop version. Great. Let me go over the rest of the one. M1 has type USB-C. Perfect. Yeah. So that's what I've been doing. I have an adapter with a USB stick or a hard drive, and I've just been like loading my brushes up that way just so I know that's it's direct in there and so forth. So that's something I've been doing. All right, so we've covered the the right-hand side of things. Let me go ahead and hide that. Now let's cover quickly the left-hand side. So the left-hand side is where your brushes will live. So here I have brushes at the top, but here's what's really cool is we folded everything for you guys. So this is something that we understand ZBrush ships with a lot of brushes. The Pro version of this of ZBrush for iPad ships with 225 brushes ish. I believe that's the right number. So from there, we were like, well, let's actually make the experience of finding brushes easier. So we went ahead and we folded all of them. So you need a groom brush, there's a groom brush. You want your masking brush or move brush, there you go. So you need a clip brush or clay brush, they're all right there ready for you to go. So you can go and identify them that way, or you can actually click right here on the side, the brush that starts with that letter. And one thing to call out is you see there is actually the letter A that's up there. That is a hotkey shortcut. And I'm calling that out because if you're somebody who would like to use a supported keyboard and have a very smooth transition to the iPad version, any keyboard that's supported by Apple for your version of iPad, you can use the hotkey shortcut. So your BCB, BDS, BMV, all of those hotkey shortkeys will work. So I do not believe you can create your own custom hotkeys, but the standard hotkeys do work. And I've seen a lot of artists come in there and just use the keyboard. So that is there. If I press and hold any brush, favorites, I can go ahead and say, boom, favorite that sucker right there. So then I can have my favorite brushes. Now what's fun is you see this brush right here, which is the Shane Olson brush. Even though I loaded it in because I have it in a separate folder currently, it's not in the ZBrush folder. It actually remembers that I favored it when I reload it. So if you are somebody who loads 1 or 2 brushes, but then you're like, okay, well, I want to keep it favored, but I don't want to put it into the version of ZBrush, into like the brush preset, because you're weird like me and you just only load like 2 brushes, then it's going to remember that you have a favorites button, which is really, really cool. And then underneath that is our stroke type. if you're familiar with ZBrush, then you know you have different stroke types that you can use for each brushes. We have alphas that you can use as well. And again, you can import all that stuff here to the import function. We also have our textures that you can have through here. And then you have our material types. And we have some new materials, which is monster clay, which I'm currently using. These are actual monster clay materials, meaning we worked closely with monster clay, and we actually scanned their materials, and then we brought them in to the iPad version. For artists who specifically love to use monster clay or want a new look, this is a very, very fun way to do it. So shout out to monster clay. And on the top three, they're more like standard materials, and the bottom three are more like matte cap materials. In fact, they are matte cap materials. Don't know why I phrased it that way. So you actually have these matte caps, and then you have the standard. I've been using this gray standard. I think it looks really, really cool. It's fun, especially when it renders. I love it. It's super cool. And then underneath materials, we have color information. So this is where you pick your color pickers, or you would actually adjust anything that you would like to. You can also have, a gradient or an alternate version of that. So good experience. You also have the picker, so you can come and pick material colors if you would like. And that's how you do that. And then underneath that, we actually have our mRGB controls as well as our alpha. So you can go ahead and turn on mRGB with our intensity slider, how that gets affected. Underneath that, we have our focal shift, which, fun fact, if you use 3 fingers, you can actually increase your brush size by going up and down. But if I go left to right, you actually adjust the focal width. And if you look on the actual bottom left-hand side of my screen, you could see that the slider is actually moving every single time I do that adjustment. So this is a quick shortcut way of adjusting your brushes. So then, of course, we have brush size, and then we have intensity, and then we have undo history. And then real fast, quick, and in a hurry, before I go back to the chat here, is that we're going to go ahead and look at the brushes down here at the bottom. So this is our quick tool picker. All these brushes down here are like some of the most used brushes that we've seen used in ZBrush. So from standard to clay buildup to dam standard to inflate, layer, pinch, et cetera, they're all there. These are some of the favorite brushes that we've seen throughout the past years. So we thought, let's just put them down there at the bottom. And then we have our transpose. If I press and hold the transpose, I have the gizmo. If I press and hold it, I then get the transpose line. So if you're used to using the transpose line, do not worry. We didn't forget about you. I'm going to go ahead and press and hold that and turn that back to gizmo. And then from here, I want you guys to think of this bottom section as like order of operation. So we have Dynamesh, which if you press and hold, you get some Dynamesh functionality. And then depending on the brush you're using, of course, we have like Sculptris. So if I use clay buildup, I can actually turn on Sculptris and activate this and adjust as needed. And then under here, we have ZBrush. So like you sculpt something with Dynamesh and Sculptris, you're going through, you're making your whole product, you're doing everything, and then boom, you're like, okay, now it's time to ZBrush. So you can ZBrush your project. And then after your ZBrush, of course, you can subdivide. And then after that, we have live Boolean. So those are the kind of the order operation things that you would kind of think through to kind of like, as I'm moving through my project, what would I do? The live Boolean one, we put that at the end because we thought that was like a good spot for it. And that is the basic UI as it is. Of course, we have the cam view. We have the ability to just quickly adjust and see our character and how it's viewing. We have our nice little silhouettes over here, as well as our list or our total points active. And then finally, we have our nice little widget guy right here, the wheel that replaces the keyboard for me. And so basically right here at the top, we have smooth. And if you look at the bottom, you can see here, every time I press smooth, the brushes change for me. And then same thing with control, that changes for me. And then I have my alt, and then I have my quick menu. Now, what's fun is if I press and hold the shift and drag my finger down to the actual control, then you can see here I have selection brushes. So I can even go smooth here, or I can go here like this. So you can actually click multiple buttons at the same time by just clicking and dragging your finger. So you can have that control shift drag. Cool. That's pretty much the majority of it. What's going on? See, how you doing? Whoop, whoop. Oh, awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, kind of running through the basics before we start getting into some sculpty stuff. Is ZModeler a possibility on the iPad? So I'm going to answer this, guys, for you real quick, fast, and in a hurry. Do not worry. So ZModeler is on the list of things to come. So like I was saying earlier, ZBrush basically got built from the ground up in order to fit the iPad to bring a best experience possible. And ZModeler is one of those things that is top tier on our list. We're super excited for it. So again, while I can't say specifics on that, there are features that, believe you me, we've already announced we're saying that we're going to be doing, and that was one that we know is on the top of the list. So yes, that will be coming. I cannot say when because I don't know. The team is working hard on it, but I will say right now, if you try to bring the ZModeler brush or nano brushes over from the desktop into the iPad version, while they will load, they will not work correctly. And we just really highly do not recommend that because you're not going to get a good experience. So again, please do not drag that brush on over. It won't work correctly. There's reasons for that. And we're trying desperately to make sure that we can get that focused and built efficiently so then you guys can have it soon. There are some tricks, though, that I would like to point out for you ZModeler fans out there. If you would like to actually kind of get a little bit of a more control with your edge loops, let me show you a quick trick. So I'm actually going to go ahead. Let's go home. We don't need to save this guy right now. I'm just going to go New Sculpt, and I'm just going to go ahead and grab this guy right here. And what's really cool is just like you would expect on the desktop version, on the gizmo, we actually do have our nice deformers and stuff, but I can also come around here and grab my polycubes. So I can come through here and adjust right here. So you can see, boom, I have this guy, which is perfect. I can turn this off. And now I have, of course, this function. And same thing too with the desktop. If you're going to go ahead and navigate like you would on the desktop, pressing hold Alt allows you to pan, letting go, zooms in and out, and of course normal rotation. But I'm finding I'm using my fingers for everything now, which is really, really cool. So again, if you want to keep it kind of like close to what you know with ZBrush desktop, then Alt, pan, let go, and of course Shift, turn, all that good stuff. Okay, so how do I get some custom edge loops in here? Great question. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and just hold Control and tap and mask this section off right here. And I'm going to grab a better material so you guys can see what I'm doing. Because typically in the streams, things seem to be just a little bit different. So we're going to go standard, going to go down to the bottom and grab my skin shade. I'm going to press and hold this guy, and then boom, I'm going to favor it. So that way next time I know I can grab skin shade 4. And then here I'm going to go Shift Control, and I'm going to actually grab Slice Curve. And if you didn't know this, this has actually been in the desktop for a while. I'm going to go ahead and drag Slice Curve. If I press and hold the spacebar button, that's going to go ahead and move that over. I'm going to hold Shift, and boom, now I actually have some custom edge loops here. So again, I can come over here and just create my own custom edge loops wherever I want them to be. Grab that here, say boom, and then come through and add that stuff. Let me do that one more time. Something like that. Now, so this is something that you can easily do. So let's just say, for the sake of fun, I'm going to come over here to boop, my tool menu. I'm going to go to geometry. I'm going to go to my modify topology and mirror and weld. So I have a nice center line. The reason why I would want that is so I can actually have symmetry turned on. So there it is, symmetry. So of course, too, I'm going to come through and I'm going to grab this. And again, what's really fun is double tap. If I didn't like that, come over here. Now I'm going to go ahead and control drag, and this is where I can mask off a section, and then now I can start flailing some stuff out. So I can do something like these shapes here. So I can start immediately creating a sword or something like that, right? Then I can drag this out, something like that. So you can do some older school methods for now in the time being in order to kind of get the vibe that you're going for. See, there it is. And also if I click the frame, there you go. So you can see here, you can already start doing some fun stuff. So this is absolutely one of the ways that I would recommend that you are able to come in and kind of create something pretty quickly. So that is something that you can do for right now temporarily. But trust me, believe you me, ZModeler, baby. We're going to want that. Very, very cool. Okay, let's go ahead and go through. Yes, great one, actually. Shout out to Matthew. This is a good one. If you're coming from the desktop, it might be easier to change the buttons to words instead of icons. Great one. Let me go ahead and actually call that out. So if you come up here to the user settings up here at the top, and then you come down here under wait, well, hold on. There it is. Under UI, you can come down here and you can actually adjust the wheel size. So you can have a small, medium, large, or extra large. I actually like the large one. And then the icons, you can change this to key icons, which looks a lot like what you would expect on a Mac keyboard, or you can change to labels so you can see the Shift, Control, Alt, and Spacebar. So those are ways that you can do that as well. What's up, Anna? How you doing? It's going pretty good. Hopefully you're doing well. You do not know slice curve can be used on edges like that. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. So just little fun ways like that, which is really, really cool. There's also some other fun features too, if you did not know. So let's do this. I'm actually going to come here to subdivide. I'm going to turn smooth off. I'm going to divide this a few times and then delete this. So this one's a really cool one as well. So again, we brought over a lot of brushes, and more specifically, we have like bevel arc, for example, right? And this is going to work very much like you think it would. If I turn this off here and I go here, boom, 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 you can see I have a nice little bevel arc. Now that is actually super low quality. So I'm going to divide a few more times just so I have this. I'm going to come in here, grab and do this, right? But now, of course, I don't have those nice sharp edges. Those edges look a little wonky, right? Maybe that looks a little bit better. So what you could do actually is come in here and actually mask off a section, invert this, and then you can actually control clip. Let's turn off our symmetry for a second. Control clip, and you can actually get a straight edge. I'm actually doing this the wrong way, so let's do this right here. Actually, symmetry should work. So put the shadow on the other side, and you can actually get a nice sharp edge just like that. So that's a nice fun way to do it. So let's do that again. So I masked off a section after I did my beveling. I went Control Shift with clip curve, and you can see here I have this nice little shadow on the side in which I want the edge to reside. Hold that in, and boom, that clips that. And now I have that nice sharp edge. So these are little things that you could do easily after, as you're kind of like sculpt hard surfacing. So right now, just think of hard surface in a way that you would do it previously before ZModeler. So just little tricks like that is super fun. Will this video be saved after the live? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. If you move the wheel from the left side to the right side, the button options change. Be aware. Yes. And that is actually to support, great one. That's actually supporting the left hand or right hand user, which we have that here at the top. Again, under UI, we have left hand mode, which switches the brushes to the other side, and right hand mode. So that's something that's there. You can also turn off your thumbnail in your cam view as well. Also, if you're used to saving, so if I come up here to memory, something to be to kind of call out is that if you are trying to actually if you want to reduce and bring some power back to the iPad, you actually have control over the polygon memory limits. So over here, it's saying that I have like 84 million for each subtool. So you want to be able to adjust this. You could slide it up or down depending on how dense you want to sculpt. So if you're somebody who doesn't sculpt super high fidelity, but you're like, I want a little bit more robustness in my iPad experience, you can drop that down if you would like. And then the other thing under File Save, again, you can come over here, you can delete any quick saves that you have. You can actually come through and just turn on or off quick save. I don't use quick save. I'm actually a pretty big, I hit this button up here all the time on top, so I don't really feel the need to quick save. I'm just like very paranoid person, but I can adjust all this stuff when needed. You can also, by default, say Z project or Z tool, and then what kind of action would you like to do? Save, save as, or even save next. So those are functions that you can do. Again, what I recommend, just like in the full version of ZBrush, come in, navigate a little bit, and then just start playing. Okay, that being said, let's just sculpt something. Let's sculpt something real quick, and then we're going to take a look at some more questions here. Is UV mapping a priority in development for ZBrush for iPad? Some questions regarding plugins. So all I can say right now, NDA bound, all I can say right now is there's a lot of things that we want to do. Not only older features that are in ZBrush for iPad, ZBrush for desktop over to ZBrush for iPad, but there are other ideas that we would like to try to do that actually bring a new experience to the iPad. So the team, we're all working very diligently to kind of come through and try some stuff. And like I said earlier, we are hearing everything you guys are saying, which is really, really cool. So like I said, I can't really speak a whole lot on it, but what I can say is we are planning a lot of really neat stuff. And as soon as I'm able to share, then you guys will know as soon as possible, which I'm super excited to share a lot. So trust me, I want to scream things from the rooftop. Came in late, so apologies if it was already answered. Not at all. Don't even worry. Can you force the wheel orders to stay the same if moved? I do not believe so at this time, Robin. Don't even worry, creators. Don't even worry. It's going to be recorded. So let's go ahead and sculpt something. So let's just do like a quick little pumpkin dude while we have some time left over. And again, you guys can kind of use this as a follow along if you would like. But here, what we're going to do is, of course, I want to make a pumpkin. So it's Halloween time. And we're just going to go ahead and I'm actually going to go ahead and use the move brush. So we'll pick this down here. And one of the things is I'm going to want to be able to, well, make a pumpkin shape that uses radial symmetry. So if I come up to, again, tool, come back here, and I go to transform, which again, I actually have that right over here, transform, set the symmetry. So I can go ahead and select the y-axis and turn radial symmetry on. And you can see here, boom, let's turn that guy off. You can see here, now I have my radial symmetry. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Great. So now that I have radial symmetry, I'm going to go ahead and take the move brush for just a second. I'm going to get a nice big brush with 3 fingers, scale that up. I'm going to come in here, and I'm actually going to go ahead and just start kind of shaping my pumpkin just a little bit. 3 fingers down, kind of come in here, and we're just going to do a quick little sketch. So there we go. Now, what's really, really cool is if you have the Apple Pencil Pro, I can go under Input and say double tap, and I want to say fit my action to screen. So if I'm all the way zoomed over here, if I double tap, boom, and it goes ahead and it snaps back to that. And you can see I did that with my action wasn't even like, let's zoom all the way, boom. Like, so I'm all the way zoomed in and my pencil is nowhere near my iPad. Double tap and it snaps. So that's really cool. So something to kind of call out. You have some function there. And now I'm going to go ahead and let's increase this. Now, what's fun is you can see here, I actually have a number right here in the section. And if I click that, I get a calculator. And why is that? Because what if I wanted to do some math? What if I'm like, I need, I don't know, 13 times 10, just because I'm being weird. So, or 13 times 9. Because boom, I can quickly do some math in there in order to get it. Now, of course, it maxes out at 100, but if you're just not quite sure the number, you can go ahead, or you can just type it in and say, I need 12, or actually I need 13. 13 is a good number, especially for Halloween, right? And then I'm going to come through and I'm actually going to go ahead and start doing this. There we go. And I'm going to keep it a little organic, but what's cool is, of course, I do have lazy mouse on. So, right, so double tap right there. So if I wanted to, again, come back here, I can actually use my lazy mouse instead. So let's come back, use my little, right there. So I can start and then I can use, and I can say, okay, 40 degrees, boom, let that go, which is perfect. Come over here, start again. Actually go back here, start. And then let's do the same thing. Let's go 40 degrees, let go of that. And you can see here, get a little bit smoother of a line. Full frame that. And then we can just come in and start getting this done did. And we're going to have to definitely do some sort of jack-o'-lantern sculpts soon enough. We'll see how far we get with this. So again, I'm somebody who likes to be a bit pedantic. So you're going to see me go over a lot of that stuff. But now let's just go ahead and grab the clay buildup, get a nice big brush, and we'll just go ahead and give this a little bit of an inflate, some added material on there. And what's really fun, and this is something that we really, really were like proud of, is, you know, we focused on the brush system being as true to the desktop as possible, which it was something really fun that we were doing. And then also too, okay, that's a little too much, too harsh, but also too, high fidelity and customization is super key. Now, real fast, We'll cover customization here in a second. Actually, we'll do it right now. Here is the space bar right here. So if I press and hold the space bar, you can see I actually have draw, focal shift, intensity, everything you would expect. But if I slide this over, boop, you can actually see I started creating a custom menu. So if there are some features and stuff that I would like to do, let's just call this pumpkin. Boom, save. I can actually come up here to the top right up here, click this guy, and we can actually start doing some customization. So what is the max poly count you can do? So the max poly count per subtool is I believe it's 1 billion, I believe. If I remember right, yeah, per subtool. I can't remember how many subtools there are that is allowed on that, but it's quite a lot. And then the other thing to remember is the very first sculpt that was actually done professionally on the iPad version during beta was actually done on M2. It was 147 million vertices, so quite a lot, actually. What up, Ashley? Woo! How you doing? Can you import multiple brushes at the same time? Marco wants to know. That's a great question. I hadn't actually tried that. Let's go ahead and give that a shot. We'll do it live here. So file. If I'm going to go ahead. No, does not look like. Looks like it just does one brush at a time currently. But what I would say is, again, what you can do is if we come over here, we go into the file system. So I'll do it for you here. Go here to the iPad. I have brushes here. So I'm going to go ahead and press and hold. And I'm just going to say select. And I'm going to select all of these guys right here. And then I'm going to press and hold it. And I'm going to go ahead and copy 10 items. Come to my iPad. Come here to ZBrush. Come here to not Z Projects. Go to Z Startup. Go to brush presets and just paste that in. So you could do it that way, which would be a lot better of a version to do. Here's something too with the customization that is super fun. If we go back here, so if we're here on the customization tab, down at the bottom, we can create our own custom toolbar. So let's say I am somebody who uses, like hard surface sculptural brushes a lot. These are the brushes that I really like. I could press and hold my bevel arc, and then I can drag that. But wait, there's more. If I grab the bevel flat and then I tap as I'm holding down the other one, all of these other brushes, I can have multiple brushes and I can slap that in down at the bottom at the same time. Thank you for that tip. I was struggling one at a time. Marco, dude, no worries, man. Gotcha. Yeah. Yep. 147 million was the first one, actually. So a little bit higher than that. Yeah. Hey, Ian, absolutely been loving ZBrush for iPad. Just two things. Need ZModeler and surface noise. Absolutely get it. All I can say is we're hearing. We are hearing. The other thing, too, is that this doesn't just work for brushes. I can also do alphas. I can have an alpha palette, a texture palette, and even a material palette. So that's definitely super fun. On the quick menu side, I can actually come over here and start creating my own custom menus. So if there are things that you really use all the time, for example, I love thick skin. It's actually one of my favorite hard surfacey things I like to do. Then I can actually grab both of those things and drag that down. So now I have mirror and weld, delete hidden, close holes. You know what I would like to do, actually? Let's come over here to deformation, and let's go ahead and use mirror, and let's actually use unify. Let's kick those two right there. Perfect. And you can see now, it's not worried about running out of room because those things are there for me. So I can do that. And then I can slide over and start making up to 5 different menus. We really wanted to focus on customization, which we thought would be super cool. And then, of course, if there's things that I don't like, that I don't use, then I can go ahead, not on the locked one, but I can go ahead and drag stuff, and then I can delete it if I don't ever think I'm going to use that. Of course, here I will be using thick skin, so I might as well go ahead and, again, drag that, and have that there, and then done. So now, boom, there's the stuff that I need that I use all the time. Okay, so now let's come here to my subtools, and then I'm going to go ahead and just rename this. So I'm going to press and hold it, rename this, and we're just going to delete all this, and we're going to call this our pumpkin, right? And then underneath this, I'm going to go ahead and add in a new let's go ahead and add in a cylinder. Perfect. And we're just going to go ahead and scale this down because we want a stem. Say something like this. And what's really, really cool, if you didn't know this, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. If you didn't know this, while the gizmo is up, if you press and hold Control, you can actually do like an inflate or a deflate. So that's really, really fun. So you can come through here, grab this guy like this. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to add Acube's favorite brush in the whole wide world. We're going to go snake hook. It's saying, hey, works best with Sculptris Pro when it's activated. You're absolutely correctly. Let me turn that on. Get a nice big brush. And now I'm going to go ahead and start manipulating this guy down just a little bit. Here, maybe grab a smaller brush. And we're going to go ahead and just grab this guy right there. There we go. Perfect. That's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to turn Sculptris off, and we're going to go ahead and Dynamesh. And again, if I'm not sure what it is, I'm like, I know, 512 is good, but what if I didn't know what the ×3 of that would be? I can just do a calculator. That's really dense, though. Why would I do that? So let's actually come back here. And actually, let's just see what it's like at 128 × 2, boom, which is 256. I'm going to go ahead and turn that on. And then now I'm just going to go ahead and use the Trimm dynamic, come through here, turn the wireframe on, looking pretty good. And we're going to go ahead and start doing a little bit of some sculpture work on that. Here we go. So again, just having a little bit of fun with all this. I can even, if I wanted to have a stylized look, turn on polish. So then I can get a little bit more of a stylization to that. Let's zoom this in. Let's go ahead, 3-finger down, and I'm going to go ahead and start digging a bit of a channel. This pumpkin maybe wasn't doing so well. And let's go ahead and control drag that. And of course, this looks a little off. It's like it's not super interesting on the silhouette. So let's come over here and let's actually do a bend curve instead. And you can see here, guys, we could start making some really fun stuff ourselves. So maybe we'll do something along this lines here. Give it kind of a S-curve, recurvy type look. Make that a bit interesting. Maybe hit accept on that. Maybe come over here and let's do like a twist. There we go. Yeah, something like that's cool. And then go ahead and apply. So you can see easily that we're able to kind of come in and start creating stuff as we need or would like to. So you just have that full control. And then let's go ahead and hit save. What up, Ryan? How you doing? It does not, in fact, work best with Sculptris Pro. Touche. Hello, can custom menus be renamed? At this time, Jan, no, I do not believe so. I went ahead and tried it while we were here, but yeah, quick menu, come over here, I clicked it, and unfortunately not. But I will keep that in mind, maybe shout it to the rooftops to a few people. Yeah, this questions came up. If you're already subscribed to ZBrush, will ZBrush be free for iPad, or would you have to pay extra? Great question. So I mentioned it before, but I'm going to say it again just to have it here as well. So there are 4 ways to get it. If you're already subscribed to ZBrush, just like the ZBrush subscription, you absolutely get it. If you have Maxon 1, you absolutely get it. If you have those 2 things, what you need to do is you need to actually log in. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save real quick because we only have a few minutes left. I come up here to the top, what you'll need to do is actually log in. So I'm going to sign out real fast so you guys can see what that looks like. So you come in here and you say get started. And then of course did I just do that? Okay, is my Wi-Fi acting up here? Let me see real quick. Come on. All right, epic fail on my side. But all you need to do is sign in. Why is that doing that? Oh, wait. Am I on the Wi-Fi? Let me make sure I'm on the Wi-Fi real quick. I'm going to real quick change you so I can see this real fast. Let me see if I can do this. I want to make sure I'm not sharing anything I shouldn't be. Oh, I'm not on Wi-Fi right now. Let me get back onto my Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi, boom, bada bing, bada boom. Okay, there we go. Should be good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So of course you'll come through here. Actually, well, I'll show you here that I'm just typing in my email, right, at maxon.net. Boom. So you can see that I'm typing in my email. I will not be sharing this next part, so you're going to have to just hold on to your butts real quick. There we go. So let me go ahead and just sign in. It's using my face. Use my face. Thank you. Okay, great. Please use my face. Okay. Got to do my two-factor authentication, which everybody should be doing. Security stuff, guys. Security stuff. Definitely do all that stuff. So here I'm signing in. I'm going to go ahead and say sign in. Make sure I'm not sharing anything that I want to be. Okay. So then I hit sign in. I went through my sign in, and you should see this. When you sign in with the same account as your Maxon One or your ZBrush subscription, this is what you should see. And all you need to do is say activate. Now, let's say you said skipped activate. Then if you're doing the free version, all you need to do once you're signed in is just hit the free version and say choose plan. And then now you'll see this. If you are signed in and you have a paid version, you'll see it says activate license and take advantage of everything. This means you already have an account. So you just click that guy up there and it'll activate. And now you're into the full version of ZBrush. But you can absolutely use it for free. Awesome, awesome. right, AK, right? So, all right, everybody. So, and of course, too, if I come back here, boom, here we go. Here's my little pumpkin and stuff like that. So, you know what I'm going to do? So, just so you guys know, we might be doing some sort of jack-o'-lantern stuff. So, what I'll probably do is like package this up at some point and maybe drop it into the free version, or not the free version, into this video in the description. I'll like package this up as a ZTL, and maybe we'll do like a pumpkin challenge and stuff like that. Or you guys can kind of make your own pumpkins. Let me do something really fun here real quick. And I'm just going to go ahead and grab this. I'm going to take A-Cube's advice and not use Sculptris here. And I'm just going to go ahead and start making the stem just a little bit more interesting. Here we go. And what's fun too is if I'm using two fingers and then I let go, I can rotate on a certain axis with one finger. So two fingers zoom in and out, let go with one finger, and I can rotate. This is one of the reasons why I really just love working on the iPad. Honestly, like being able to travel, to sculpt, go to the zoo, hang out with my kids on the couch, watching a movie, being goofy as all get out. Like these are things that I super. I hit a button. I hit a button. My bad, guys. My bad. My mouse got in the way. I was like, boop. How long has it been since Ian streamed? Quite a while. Anyway, so yeah, so you're able to do a lot of fun stuff. Here, I'm going to go ahead, go back to transform. I'm going to go to my brush. I'm going to go here to backface mask, and I'm going to turn on backface mask, right, and bring a little bit of TLC to this guy right here. Boom. Yes, 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 yes. Control drag, get something looking a little interesting. And look, Move Infinite, one of my favorite brushes. I can come in here and kind of give you a little bit more of something like this. Yes, yes. That looks pretty cool. Digging that. It's a little funky dunky, but I love it. Come back over here. 3 fingers, close that up, and just kind of bring a little bit of TLC to this. So you guys are going to see me stream a lot more ZBrush for iPad when I get back from a lot of travel. There's a lot of stuff that's happening lately, so I haven't been able to stream much. But at the end of the day, we're going to be doing a lot more stuff, especially towards the end of the year. I'll see if I can sneak in a stream next week before I go on some more travel. But super excited to showcase this. And if you guys have any questions, again, don't forget, please, that, you guys can come up here to the actual help. You can actually go straight to support. You can reach out to us and say like, hey, something's going on. Can you help me out, please? But it definitely means a lot to have you guys come in here and play around. I'm going to go ahead and actually do a kind of stylized approach to this as well. So I'm going to grab this guy. Boom. Yeah, something like that. Perfect. Perfect. All right. And that being said, we are pretty much out of time. So we got a little bit of a quick sculpt in here. And this is what I personally love is that I don't feel like I'm working when I'm in the iPad version. And I don't know how many of you might feel the same way, but it's nice to be able to just start a thing and then leave and then come back or take it with me and just hang out and be on the couch. I feel like there's just a lot more freedom in doing that. And you can see here, I'm pressing and holding Alt and tapping between my different subtools, which you could do in the desktop. You can also do that here in the iPad version. Okay, great. Oh, yes, how to make hair in fiber mesh. Great stuff. Let's actually do that. Danny, thank you so much for the reminder. Hair in fiber mesh. So really, really fun stuff. So just like you would in the desktop version, come up here to our tool palette. So here, just come over to tool, and then we're actually going to come over here to our fiber mesh. And then here, it's just fiber mesh is based off of course, our mask. So if I have a mask right here, then I'm going to come here. Let me dock this over just like that. And then under fiber mesh, I have my modifiers. So I need to go ahead and hit preview to turn this on, and it automatically will have that there. And then just like you would before, let's drag this up a bit. I can actually come in and say, you know what, let me do the length of this. So let's actually increase the length. Let's drop the coverage or maybe increase the coverage. So we have all this coverage here, the width profile, how slim or thin something gets. And then 2, you can twist it. You can have some little curlies going on if you really want. And then, of course, gravity. If you don't want gravity to affect it, or you do want gravity to affect it in some way, shape, or form, this is what you would end up doing. So that being said, clear the mask. I'm going to go ahead and let's just open up. Let's go ahead and open up this guy. There's a quick little nose dude I was going ahead and make. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this guy, kind of do like a little bit of a, let's give him a mohawk. You know what? Let's do that. So let's come in here and there you go. I'm going to Control Alt Tap to actually make that more solid. So let's do this. Say something like that. Control Tap. Boom. Perfect. Let's open this back up. Fiber mesh. Let's preview this. And in course, so there we have something like this. Yeah, he's looking funky. I like it. Let's not have gravity affect it. So I'm going to come down over here to my gravity. I'm going to have that stick straight up. And we're going to give him some 1980s punk rock. There we go. Yes, like that. Now, something to remember too is color information. So I can actually turn the base of this off. And the tip of this can be turned off. Say it can be white like that if we needed to. And if I want to hit render real quick, just like you would in desktop version, it will absolutely render. Say something like that. And then once you're done with this, and let's say you're happy and you know it, then you can go ahead and save this, and you can call this, you know, we can call this Mohawk. So we know that's what we created before. And then we can go ahead and hit accept. It's going to say, hey, if you do this, you know, preview rendering fibers. Always read these pop-ups, guys, because it's super helpful for you. So would you like to activate fast mode? You can just say yes, that's fine. Great. And now I have my fiber right here on a separate subtool, which you can see there it is. And then from here, this is where we have our groom brushes. So here we can come through and grab a nice groom brush, and we can start. Let's actually come through here. Let's actually maybe use. There we go. Say something like this. Now that's super intense. So we're going to drop that intensity down, and we're going to go ahead and kind of sculpt this up a little bit. There we go. Say something like this. Let's put that out. Yeah, something like that. Nice little. I like to use the groom brushes very much like I comb my hair. I actually go into the direction of the fibers. I feel like that actually just does a much better job with what it is I'm trying to do. So that's what I recommend. Kind of come through like that. And then maybe, you know what? Oh, dude, let's give him some, let's spike it. Let's spike it. Yeah. Maybe so, like going with a little bit of Liberty spikes, maybe. And actually, I'm using symmetry, so it's a little gross, right? So maybe we'll come over here, turn off symmetry, do a little something like this. Maybe that's too big. There you go. There we go. Yes. There you go. There you go. So you're getting something that's super weird. You know what? I don't like that. So let's just come back and just do boop. But you get the idea, hopefully. But yeah, it's just super fun. Again, just lets me play with stuff, which I think is really, really cool. I'm going to hit save on that because why not? It's a masterpiece, NFT. Does also have the settings to make hair wavy and curly. I believe FiberMesh is completely brought over, so all of your settings and stuff like that are here. So you can come through and customize that exactly as you would need to. So yes, you also have your preview settings and you also have your BPR settings. So yeah, everything should be there to the best of my knowledge. Will there be a Redshift for iPad ZBrush? It's a great question. And like I've been mentioning before, there's a lot of features and stuff that we are planning to kind of bring over. I can't say specifics because I don't know, but it is something, again, we have a lot of plans and stuff that we'd like to do. Can you mask and inverse mask extrude? Yes, you can. Great question. Hey, what's up, Britt? How you doing? What's up? Yes, you absolutely can. So for example, let's go ahead and just create a quick mask here. So let's go ahead and Alt tap that. And actually, there are some masking features that came over from the latest version of ZBrush. So if I'm over here under masking, and I'm just going to go ahead and let's do something like this. Right, Control tap, tap, tap. So maybe I want to fill that sucker in because I do a crazy like custom design and we don't want to be doing this the whole time. This is obviously like a very advanced feature, like something where like you're doing really advanced shapes and stuff like that. Then we actually would come down here to mask region and you could do an auto region to just kind of fill that in. And that could be a quick button for you. So if you have multiple masks, right? So you do something like this. And then you do something like this. And again, you have things up here. So once you can analyze areas, and then you can fill those in. So you can come in here and you could say like, I need to analyze this, and I want to fill this guy right in there. So I can just click tap and fill that in, which is really cool. So little things like that, which would be fun. But let's say we have a custom little shape. And I will just kind of fill that in real fast. Yay, perfect. Alt tab, make that super sharp. Same thing like you would on the desktop version. You're going to come under here under SubTool, and then you're going to go extract, and then you're going to go ahead and do your extract. You can also do 0. 0 is my favorite number for extract because it's single-sided geometry. So I can say extract and accept. Boop. And then there is my single-sided geometry. And if I wanted to kind of clean this up, deformation, and then I can always kind of polish this feature up, soften that mask a bit, deformation, polish by features, maybe crisp that up a few times, right? So it's something like this. And now I have this guy. You can even go to geometry. You can even come up here to, where are we? Dynamic subtool. You can turn this on and you can create thickness within your dynamic subtool. So there, you can see I have some thickness on that. Increase that or decrease that, and now you have that. And then all you need to do, of course, not hit render like me, but come up to the top and hit apply, and now you have your actual subtool right there with thickness that you controlled. So absolutely you can do that. Okay, very, very cool. So that being said, everybody, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. But thank you guys for joining me on the stream. We went a few minutes over. Like I said, I'm going to kind of go ahead, clean up this pumpkin a little bit. And then if you're watching this after everything, you can go into the description and download this guy, maybe make a jack-o'-lantern or something like that. And then you can tag me or Maxon. So you can tag Maxon at Maxon ZBrush, or you can tag me IR Sculpts, and you can come through and do all that stuff. So there's just a lot of really fun stuff that you can do. Please come in and play around with it. Again, there's a free version. You can say that one more time. There's a free version through the App Store. All you need to do is just create a Maxon account, sign in, and you're good to go. And you can just start playing with it immediately without ever spending a dime. So thank you guys very, very much. We're going to go ahead and come here. And yeah, that is it. Thank you all. Have a good one. And I will see you guys later. Have fun and tag. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye, 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 bye.